Welcome to this explainer. Let's just dive right in, shall we? Today we're exploring a truly fascinating piece of human behavior, the psychology behind why some people manage to stay completely and seemingly effortlessly unbothered when someone insults them. It's an absolutely vital skill in emotional intelligence, and honestly, mastering it will completely change how you interact with the world.
Picture this scenario for a second. Someone insults you. They drop a snide comment right to your face, and they are fully expecting you to snap back, get defensive, or just look visibly hurt. But instead, you simply don't give them a reaction. You stay totally neutral. Why do some people stay completely calm in the face of a direct provocation? Like, what is their secret? Well, we're going to unpack exactly how this works, step by step.
First things first, we've got to rewrite an old societal narrative. For the longest time, we were taught that if you don't fight back, you're weak, right? Well, here's the truth. Silence does not equal weakness. Deliberate silence is a psychological superpower. It's not about rolling over. It's a conscious, highly empowered choice of emotional regulation. Now, not reacting doesn't automatically mean someone is emotionally healthier in every single aspect of life, but in that specific moment, it shows a profound level of self-control.
Section 1. The power of silence. The mechanics of a non-reaction.
Section 2. Conserving your mental energy. Point 1. Not every insult is worth it.
Emotionally regulated people view their mental and emotional energy as a strictly finite resource. You literally only have so much bandwidth in a given day, and highly regulated people understand deeply that not every job or passing comment is actually worth spending their limited energy on. Let's look at a pretty realistic everyday example. Imagine you're walking out of the office and a passive-aggressive coworker says, "Wow, you're actually leaving at 5 p.m. today?" The immediate instinct is to justify yourself or snap back. But a non-reactive person hears that, evaluates it, and essentially decides, yeah, I'm not going to fund this petty argument with my energy. They just let the comment hang awkwardly in the air.
So the crucial takeaway here is this practical lesson. Audit your energy. I want you to start treating your mental energy like hard currency. The very next time someone drops a petty insult, just ask yourself, how much is this going to cost me to engage with? Because honestly, the cost of getting angry, getting defensive, and ruining your entire afternoon is usually way higher than just letting the comment fall flat.
Moving to Section 3, defining your own self-worth. Point 2, separating opinions from facts.
This is all about recognizing that emotionally strong people do not rely on external validation to know their value, which means an external attack doesn't rock their foundation. For instance, say a friend looks you up and down and goes, "Are you really wearing that to the meeting?" That insult is entirely designed to attack your confidence. It's a test. If you rely on them to feel good about your outfit, you'll instantly crumble or get defensive.
Notice the massive difference here. Someone's opinion versus your self-worth. An insult is really just someone expressing a fleeting thought. It's bad data. It doesn't magically alter your inherent value, and it certainly doesn't turn into a factual verdict about who you are. The non-reactive person knows their worth is a strictly internal metric, completely separated from whatever opinion the other person just threw at them.
Here's your practical lesson to apply this one in real life. When an insult lands, consciously recognize in your head, okay, this is just an opinion. Anchor yourself back to your own self-belief. Because you know exactly who you are, you can literally visualize that comment bouncing right off you, instead of absorbing it into your identity.
Section 4. The strategic emotional pause. Point 3. Intercepting the reaction.
Now we're moving from the big picture mindset into the real-time mechanics, like what exactly happens in your brain in that split second after an insult is delivered. Well, a non-reactive person successfully intercepts their emotional reflex through a really rapid 3-step process. Step 1, you hear the insult. The trigger happens. Step 2, you take a breath. Actually, this is where the real magic happens. You force a gap between the trigger and your response. Step 3, you logically assess the value of responding. In that tiny little gap, you are actively preventing the lower, reactive part of your brain from grabbing the steering wheel. Your actionable takeaway here is absolutely crucial. Master the 3-second pause. The very next time you feel that hot flush of anger because someone triggered you, force yourself to literally count to 3 in your head before you even open your mouth. You will be amazed, seriously amazed, at how quickly the urge to lash out dissipates when you just give your logical brain a moment to catch up.
Section 5. Choosing when to respond. Points 4 and 5. Power dynamics and intentional action.
This is where we look at the external actions.
Deciding if and when you're going to respond creates a massive shift in interpersonal power. Ask yourself, who holds the power in these interactions? Imagine you're at a social gathering and someone is clearly trolling you. They're just poking you for a reaction to entertain themselves or make you look bad. If you react emotionally, if you lose your cool, you have quite literally just handed them the remote control to your feelings. They pushed a button and you performed exactly as they wanted. They hold the power.
There is a massive psychological distinction between reacting and responding. Reacting is involuntary. It's an emotional explosion that just gives away your power. Responding, on the other hand, or even consciously choosing silence, is deliberate. By understanding that reacting gives the other person power, you retain your control by simply choosing not to play their game. You decide when a response is actually necessary.
Here is the practical lesson for intentional communication. First, identify the instigator's motive. Spoiler alert, they want you upset. Second, withhold that desired reaction. Starve them of the drama. Finally, you get to choose if engagement actually serves you or the situation. If it doesn't, let silence do the heavy lifting for you.
Section 6. Setting boundaries versus suppressing. This is the crucial caveat.
We absolutely must define what crosses the line here. Harassment, bullying, serious disrespect, or abuse. These involve aggressive pressure or intimidation that threatens your safety, your livelihood, or your fundamental respect. You should never, ever tolerate this. Having high emotional intelligence does not mean being a doormat. There's a massive difference between emotional regulation and emotional suppression. Regulation is healthy, right? It's choosing not to engage with a petty, passing comment because it's beneath your energy. Suppression, though, is unhealthy. It's toxic. It is silently enduring actual, repeated abuse because you're afraid to speak up.
Silence is a tool, not a trap. Some situations absolutely require you to set a firm boundary, to speak up powerfully, or to seek help from HR, a manager, or a professional. Use silence to deflect the trivial stuff, but always use your voice to defend your boundaries. Okay, let's wrap this whole thing up with a rapid recap to build out your non-reactive toolkit. 1. Conserve your finite mental energy. 2. Separate fleeting opinions from your solid self-worth. 3. Use that 3-second pause to intercept your reflexes. 4. Retain your power by choosing not to play their game. And 5. Know your boundaries and never tolerate actual abuse.
And that leads us to one final provocative question to leave you with. Will you let their words control you, or will you choose your response? Because at the end of the day, true emotional strength isn't about never feeling the sting of an insult. It is about feeling that sting, pausing, and deciding exactly what happens next, rather than letting someone else's cheap words dictate your reality. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you in the next one.